Hi everyone, this is Jambi from Malicha Creations and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make the frilled shorts. They're quite easy to make and perfect for summer. On Thursday I'm going to post the pattern for the laced up top. So if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscription button so you're notified when I post. The stitches I'm going to use are listed in the description box below, and for the written pattern you can find it in my Ravelry store as listed in the link below. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to get sizing for all sizes, but the written pattern has the exact number of stitches you're going to need from extra small to extra large. The actual amount of yarn that you're going to need is also listed in the description below. So I'm using this cotton blend, a 3.5mm hook, a pair of scissors, a tape and a darning needle. So the shorts will be made in two parts and I'm going to make the front and the back exactly the same. So I'm going to start with a slip stitch as per usual and make a chain to half the size of my hip when stretched. Because I'm making an extra small, I'm going to make a chain of 68, but for the other sizes you can check out the written pattern in the description box below. And if your size is not there, all you have to do is make a chain and measure to the size of your hip when you stretch the chain. So I'm done with my chain and I'm just going to make sure that it is half the size of my hip, and that is 17 inches, and make sure that it's stretched, because if it's not stretched then it's going to be loose. And make sure the number of stitches are even, that is divisible by 2, and then count 4 stitches from the hook, skip them, and then double crochet in the 5th stitch from hook, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the 5th stitch from hook, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the 5th stitch from hook, and continue like that until the end. And you're going to end up with an uneven number of stitches of double crochets at the end. This is very important because this is what will make the two sides of your leg opening to be equal. So I'm going to see you at the end of the row. Once you're at the end of the row, you're going to see this mesh look, and then you're going to chain 4 again, turn, and then double crochet in the next double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next double crochet. Oops. Chain 1, skip 1, and then continue double crochet in the next double crochet until the end of the row. And that's the end of my second row, and then I'm going to repeat the second row one more time by chaining 4, double crochet in the next double crochet, and then chain 1, double crochet in the next double crochet. And this is where I'm going to place my cord at the end. It will be placed in the middle row, and I'll see you at the end of the row. I'm at the end of my row, so I've got 3 rows, and then I place a stitch marker at the center of my work and make sure the two sides are equal, because it's going to affect your leg opening. and then I'm going to chain 2. I chain 2 to reduce the gaps at the beginning, and then double crochet in the first chain, and then double crochet in the double crochet in the chain space, and then double crochet in the double crochet. And I'm going to continue until I get to where I have the stitch marker. I'm now by the stitch marker, and what I'm going to do is, let me just remove the stitch marker. I'm going to put a double crochet cluster there, so it's 3 double crochets in the same stitch. This is to just help shape my shorts. And then I'm going to replace the stitch marker in the center stitch of the cluster. Okay, in the middle stitch of the cluster, and then I'm going to continue double crocheting until the end of the row, and then chain 2 again, and then turn my work. So from here I'm going to repeat the row, double crochet in all the double crochets, place a cluster of 3 double crochets where I have the stitch marker, and then double crochet until the end of the row. So I'm placing my 3 stitches there. Don't forget to replace your stitch marker so you don't forget to work in that stitch on your way back, and then double crochet until the end of the row in each stitch. And then from here I'm going to repeat this row 2 more times, in total to have 4 rows before I set my row for the frills. If you have wider hips, so like a large, extra large, you may want to add 2 more rows so that it fits. But for extra small, medium, you work 4 rows, and for the larger sizes you work 6 rows. All these details are available in the written pattern, which is in my description box below. I'm done with my 4 rows, and now I'm going to work for my row 4, placing the frills, which will be worked in back loop double crochets. And I'm also going to start reducing on the sides, but keep on doing my cluster in the middle. So I'm going to chain 2, and then back loop double crochet in the first stitch, and then back loop 2 together, double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then what you're going to do is back loop to the stitch marker, place your back loop double crochet cluster in the stitch marker, don't forget to replace your stitch marker, and then back loop towards the end until you have 3 stitches left, the actual number of stitches you should work are in the written pattern for sizes extra small to extra large. But if you are not using those stitches, just back loop, double crochet until you have 3 stitches left, and then you're gonna double crochet 2 together in back loop, double crochet 2 together in back loop, and then double crochet in the last stitch, chain 2, and then turn. And then what we're trying to do is work an equal number of stitches for the second part of the shorts. So I'm going to make 3 more stitches to make it 4, and if it's a larger size, you work the 6 rows that you initially worked. So start by double crochet in the first stitch, then double crochet 2 together, that's a decrease, and then double crochet to the stitch marker, and then work your 3 cluster in the stitch marker, double crochet to the last 3 stitches, decrease, and then double crochet in the last stitch. I've now worked 3 more rows, and now I have to work the row for the next frill, where the next frill is gonna rest. So I'll work in back loop as per row number 6. So you work in back loop, decreasing at the beginning, the second and the third stitch in back loop, and then crochet in back loop to the stitch marker, and then place your cluster of 3 where you have your stitch marker. Don't forget it's in the back loop, and then back loop to the end, to the last 3 stitches, and then decrease at the end and chain 2. And from here you're going to work 3 rows in double crochet. Don't forget to decrease at the beginning and at the end, and place your cluster of 3 in the middle of your work, and I'll see you when I'm done with my 3 rows. I'm now done with my 3 rows. I've got 4 before the line, for 3 before the line of the frill, making a 4, and then this will be the last row before I join the other piece which I already made. So I'll just lay it on top there just to make sure everything is working. And then I'm just going to repeat the frill row. So obviously start with the front back loop, double crochet, back loop, double crochet 2 together, back loop to the stitch marker, place a cluster of 3 double crochets in the stitch marker, and then don't forget to decrease at the end, and I'll see you when I'm done with this row. I'm now done with my piece. I've got 3 rows of back loops, and the rest of rows are just in normal double crochet, and I'm going to join them together by making sure that my back loops are inside, because that will be the right side. So your back loops when you're joining should be facing each other inside, and your that's your right side. If you have wider hips, don't forget to add 2 more rows on each section, so to make sure it fits. Join your 2 pieces using a stitch marker, and then turn, and I'm gonna join the sides by using a slip stitch. So I'm gonna start by joining the 2 sides together with a slip stitch, then just slip stitch on each side, alternating until you reach the end. And make sure that you're slip stitching per row. Don't skip any rows, it's not gonna look nice. And when you're at the end, you just, and it has to be nice and straight. It's got, when I block it, it's gonna look fine. And then at the end, you just slip through the both corners of your work. Close it off. It's a little hard, okay. And then cut, and you can weave in your ends. And then do the same and join the other side of your shorts. Once you're done with the side, we're going to work on finishing the leg opening before we start the frills. I've now joined my 2 sides, and I'm going to work 3 more rows for the leg opening to make 4 rows before I start adding the frills. So each section of the frills will have 4 complete rows. So I join my yarn at the corner, then make chain 3, and I'm going to work round. I'm going to decrease at the beginning, so, and then decrease in the first, in the second and third stitch, and then work your double crochet to where you have joined the 2 pieces together, where you've put a stitch marker. So just continue with your double crochet to where you have your stitch marker, and I'll see you there. Then work a double crochet on the one side of your shorts, and then work another double crochet on the other side of your shorts that you joined, and then work double crochet all the way to the end until you have 2 stitches left. and I'll see you, and then you will decrease by working the 2 stitches together before you join at the top of your chain 3, and I'll see you at the end of the row. Double crochet 2 together at the end, and then join at the top of your chain 3 and chain 2, turn, and then you're going to double crochet, then double crochet 2 together, and then work double crochet to the joint of your shorts where they join, and I'll see you at the joint. And once at the joint, you double crochet 2 together because you want that nice tight fit, and then double crochet until you have the last 2 stitches, and then you're going to join at the top, and then you're going to work one last row in the same way. Double crochet in the first stitch, decrease at the center, and then decrease at the end of the row, and I will see you at the end of the row. I'm now at the end. I've completed. I'm now going to repeat the same on the other side and cut my yarn and weave in the ends. I'm now done with both my sides, and I'm going to add the frills on row 6, row 12 and row 16. And then I'm going to finish with the edging around the leg opening. So I'm gonna start by joining the yarn at the beginning of my row 6. For large and extra large, it will be row 9. I'm gonna start by chaining 4, 3, 4, and then double crochet in the same stitch, then skip 1, and then reverse stitch in the next stitch, which is 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet in the same stitch, skip 1 in the next stitch, first stitch, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, skip 1 in the next stitch, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet. Continue with this pattern until the end of the row. So continue making these stitches until the end of the row, and I will see you at the end of the row. At the end of the row, you're going to slip stitch into the 3rd stitch from hook. The 3rd stitch on the chain 3. If you have done a large, extra large, you need to do 2 more rows, or 1 more row of this V stitch. Just do 1 more row so that it fills up. Okay, then slip stitch into the next stitch, then chain 1, and then going to the in the next V stitch, put a cluster V stitch, which is 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets in the chain space, then single crochet in the next chain space, right, and then a cluster V stitch, 2 double crochets, chain 2, oops, and 2 double crochets, and then single crochet, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then 2 double crochets, and just continue like this with this pattern until the end. And what you're going to do is you're going to repeat this on row number 12 and row number 16. So just continue 2 double crochets, that's it, a V stitch cluster, and then a single crochet, and repeat this on row number 12 and row number 16, and I will see you when I'll do the leg opening. I've now completed that part, and then row number 12, row number 16, I'll repeat these 2 rows and work around the leg opening. So I'm just going to work the 2 rows offline as exactly the same, then I'll meet you when I'm working the leg opening. I'm now going to join my yarn at the corner of the last row of the leg opening, and once again I'm going to chain 4, double crochet in the same stitch, then skip 1, V stitch in the next stitch, skip 1, V stitch in the next stitch, skip 1, V stitch in the next stitch, and just work this row, the first row of the frill, all around, and I'll see you at the end of the row. And at the end, join with a slip stitch, and then slip stitch in the next stitch, chain 2, chain 1, sorry, and then V stitch cluster. If you've done a larger size and you've added 2 more rows, don't forget to work the first row of the frills one more time, and then just continue with your alternating of V stitch cluster and single crochet until you're done, and that will be the end of your lacing of the leg opening. Don't forget to repeat the same steps on the other side of the leg opening. After you're done with your frills, we're now going to make the cord. You're going to take 2 strands of yarn and make a slip stitch, and then you're going to yarn under, and then yarn over. Let me try again. Yarn under, and then yarn over and pull through. Yarn under with the yarn at the bottom, yarn over and pull through, yarn under, yarn over and pull through. I've done a detailed tutorial of how to make a cord. I have added it in the description box below, so if you want a more detailed way to make the cord, check in the link in the description box below. Yarn under, yarn over and pull through. And the size of your cord should be 1.5 times the size of your hip. Then it will be short, but if you want it longer, you can make it longer. For my size, I'm gonna make 250 stitches for the extra small size, but you can make it as long and as short as you want, and optional if you want to decorate it, then you can just add beads at the end. So I will see you at the end when I'm done. Once you have reached your desired length, you cut your yarn and then just make a knot at the end of your cord and make sure it's tight. And then you're going to run it through your waist, the middle mesh, or starting from the center. So you're going to start from the center and just run it inside and out through the center of your second chain or row. Voila, your shorts are now done. You can add beads to the cord just to add a little bit more flavor, and that's optional. If you want to know when I post the top, which is on Thursday, subscribe and turn on notification. Thank you for watching. Until next time.